So did you, as she said, were you comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable on set?
It, honestly, the first time when I read the script and then when I met Gaurav and Raghav sir, I loved what they were trying to say through the show. And that's something that I kept going back even through the uncomfortable moments when we were shooting it. That what is the show trying to say? And that one hook and that one messaging that's, once you watch the show, you know what that is. I kept going back at that. And that's the reason why, there's a lot happening in the show in terms of the character and what the character is doing. But, the purity with which they've portrayed the horror, and they've shown the Andhera, which is not just outside, but also inside you. And which is a very unexplored territory, according to me, especially in the Indian or the South Asian content market. You always look at the West when they club different genres together. So this was that one show which was trying to be experimental, but also being true to what it was trying to say. So those uncomfortable moments kind of slid through because of that, because of the purity with which they were trying to tell their story.
Also, every scene we were shooting, there was so much communication happening during it. I mean, literally after every other take, we would either go to Raghav sir or we would go to Gaurav and we would ask them. And because इन्होंने तो show खोल के पिया था before we started shooting, तो हर चीज का मोटिवेशन कहाँ से आता है, क्यों कोई ऐसे रिएक्ट कर रहा है, कहाँ से जा रहा है, यहाँ इसके बाद क्या होने वाला है, या फिर इसके साथ 15 साल पहले क्या हुआ था जिसके वजह से ये रहे. So I feel like it was made very easy for us to also adapt to this very new space.
Gaurav was talking to Raghav, who's the director of the show, and he was telling me that most of these questions you should ask to Gaurav because he's a horror nerd. So I want to ask you, what are the horror films or shows that you've grown up on, that you've watched, that have been an influence for you, particularly on this show?
I think eventually what you create now is a mix of those influences only, as you say. And I remember when I was really young, there was a film called Kohra.
Yeah.
Old horror film. And some visuals from those movies, it stayed back and it really scared me. And then there was this whole thing where I wasn't that connected to horror because what used to happen was it became a lot about gore and it became a lot about very superficial stuff.
Right.
There was also a time when it kept going into sex a lot.
A lot, because people would always, so they would always mix those two genres and stuff. But then I remember watching Ram Gopal Varma's Raat and later Bhoot. And apart from whatever Eastern horror, like your Japanese and Korean horrors, and apart from the classic Western horrors and stuff like that, apart from that, these are the movies which you actually watched and you were like, dude, this is happening, like this is now, we are making this. And it was so real and it was so, because the fun is that, the fun is if it stays with you and then you start imagining it happening in your own surroundings that you're so familiar with. That was, and that's been our attempt also with the show. So